republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as the outgoing chairperson, I will make this extremely quick on my end. We'll go over 4 quick items, and then I'll pass it along to Dr. Andre so we can proceed with the changing of the chairperson and officer positions for the Bristol Water Regional School Committee. The first thing I'd like to do is recognize and congratulate our 2 newest members. To my left, Adam Ramos. If you would just raise your hand. To my right is Brian Bradshaw. I'd also like at this time to recognize 2 school committee members that are departed. Lena Wainwright, unfortunately she could not be here. She's out of country, but is Karen Lynch here? And I'd like to also recognize Karen Lynch. Lynn was with us for 4 years and did an outstanding job. So did Karen for 10 plus years. Truly inspirational individuals, totally dedicated to the children of Bristol Warren. So what we ended up getting them is a small token of appreciation, which I will pass along to them when I do see them. But I did want to recognize them, so thank you. Third item, I'd like to just quickly recognize some individuals out there. We have some officials. Town Council for Bristol could not make it because they're in a meeting right now.
Elect, not quite.
Thank you for coming here. Glad you could make it. From Warren Town Council, I did see Carrie Cronin, and there she is, and Stephen Thompson. Excellent. And any other members? Okay. Other elected officials, Senator Wally Felag, State Representatives Susan Donovan, Representative Kenny Marshall. Also, we have our illustrious administrative team here, our principals from each of the schools. I think we've got them all. Do we have any? I don't have my glasses.
It's a
my
poll.
apologies.
I think we got 5 out of 6.
If you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, could you stand? And Steve Contenti, thank you. And we've got the fire chief. And the police chief. The police chief as well. Okay, I think we'll now move on to my last item, which is just real quick. I'd like to thank all the school committee members for the past 2 years. I'd like to thank those for voting me to be their chairperson. It's been a great honor and a privilege, and I thank you all for your trust. John Saviano, Diane Campbell, Marjorie McBride, Paul Silver, Bill Odell, Erin Schofield, and Karen Lynch, and Lynn Wainwright. So thank you all for a great 2 years, and I look forward to helping our next chairperson move this school committee along for the next 2 years. At this time, what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Dr. Mario Andre, and we'll proceed with the...
Thank you, Mr. Bento. Before we introduce Judge Hurst this evening, I just want to say a few words about Mr. Bento. I was fortunate enough to be appointed as superintendent right around the same time Mr. Bento took the chair. I think of all the accomplishments over the last 2 years, being a future-ready school, being inducted to the League of Innovative Schools, creative budgeting to make sure every year our budget is met, and we have some innovative ways to meet the needs of our students, create STEM pathways, our internship programs. I really want to thank you for your leadership and allowing our administrative team to think outside the box, to have that freedom with a little authority above us, not straying too far and remaining to the district's strategic goals. But under your leadership, we were able to be creative thinkers, problem solvers, and be able to model what we expect from our building principals, our teachers, and our students in the classroom. So I want to thank you for modeling leadership over the last 2 years and in the conversation. With that said, I want to present you with a token of our appreciation, a pen gift. It says Bristol Warren Regional School Committee, John C. Bento, 2014 through 2016.
Okay, so I lied. I'm going to make one more quick comment. The beautiful thing about Dr. Andre is that he keeps us on point and focused on the right things. I will tell you that there's no great professional that I've had the privilege to work with, is Dr. Andre. He truly has got our school district on the cutting edge. We have school districts all over the state and even outside our state that are looking at our schools, the great things that we're doing. And I attribute that to his leadership and to that of his team. Diane, Pauline, Leslie, and Mary, and your other administrative staff. So thank you for everything, Mom. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Bento. At this time, I'd like to introduce Judge Hurst, who will do the swearing in of the officers.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Patricia Hurst. I'm retired now, Justice of the Rhode Island Superior Court. I'm now associated with the Rhode Island Supreme Court Appellate Mediation Panel. I'm spending some of my time there these days. I retired in the spring. I live in Warren. I've lived in Warren for 25 years or so, something like that. And I've had the pleasure of swearing in the Warren Town Council, their police, their fire, and also this committee. And I've been doing it for a number of years, and I'm very happy and proud and honored to be here again. Before administering the oath, I would like to just say a few words. I'll make it brief. I think that the next several years may be more challenging than in the past. You know, we're all aware of the divisiveness that's befallen our country, and regardless of how we arrived here, it's a fact of life. And I think it's realistic to expect that some of its effects are going to trickle down to our children, particularly here in the more urbanized areas where diversity is also a fact of life. And, if any of the nationally reported incidents are any indication, those effects are already upon us. In addition, we're facing times of global economic uncertainty, which is going to, has the potential to affect all of us in our schools. So our schools, our teachers, our administrators, and school committees are facing even greater challenges than before. When trying to think of something apropos of tonight's ceremony, I thought of Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese poet who was born in 1883. Gibran wrote a book called The Prophet, and some of you are probably familiar with it. It's been translated from the Arabic into dozens of languages, and it stands today as probably one of the world's most widely read books of poetry. In one of his poems, Gibran wrote, "Tenderness and kindness are not signs of weakness and despair, but manifestations of strength and resolution." He wasn't writing of children or teaching or education in particular, but I think his words resonate nonetheless. As school committee members, you may be able to, well, you will be required to, I think, exercise compassion, restraint, patience, and tolerance to children and others because of their age, immaturity, or their general perspective. Can't fathom the danger in what they're hearing, seeing, or sometimes even doing or saying. I don't envy your position, but I know how seriously all of you take your position, and I also know that all of you here are up to the task. On behalf of the citizens of Warren and Bristol, I do extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for your service, and I wish you the best in all of your efforts. Now, if you would stand, please, and raise your right hands, I can administer the oath. Just repeat after me, please. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws
and obey the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Rhode Island
and the state of Rhode Island
and Providence Plantations,
and Providence Plantations,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Regional School Committee Member.
of Regional School Committee Member.
Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Judge Hurst, for your kind words and your continued loyalty to this district. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask for nominations for the chair of the school committee.
I'd like to nominate Paul Silva as chairman of the school committee.
Second.
It's faster than I expected. Are there any further, even before the second, are there any further nominations? With that in mind, the nominations are closed. There was a second. So it's moved and seconded that Paul Silva be elected as chair of the school committee. Any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Paul, I'm going to hand the meeting over to you. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the faith and the confidence you have in giving me this position. Having said that, I'd like to accept nominations for the vice chair of the school committee.
Chair,
Yes.
I would like to nominate Erin Schofield.
I'll second that.
I have a nomination of Aaron, and second by Mr. Bento. Are there any further nominations?
I move that the nominations be closed, Mr. Chair.
Motion made to close the nomination. There's no further nominations. A second. All right. The nominations are closed. There's no further nominations being made. Having said that, all in favor of Aaron for vice chair?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Aaron, congratulations. All right, now we're on to the third one, and by all intents and purposes, from where I sit, I'd like to hear a nomination for the treasurer for the school committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Marge McBride for treasurer.
Is there a second? Motion, a nomination made and seconded. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, the nomination be closed. Can I have everyone in any discussion? You have something else? No? All in favor of Marge for treasurer?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Marge, congratulations. And now for the last leadership position on this board, I'm looking for a motion, a nomination for secretary.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Bill Odell for secretary. Second.
The nomination of Mr. Odell by Mrs. McBride and a second by Ms. Campbell. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for a secretary? Hearing no other nominations, then the nominations are closed. All in favor of Mr. Odell being secretary? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Bill, congratulations. Well, I know that that is pretty much everything on our agenda. I just want to say one thing to the members of this body. I will ask you really to don't be afraid to open your mouth and speak your viewpoint, whether somebody else disagrees with it or not. It's part of the process. Please feel free. The 4 executive board members that you just elected are here to listen and to make sure that, to help make sure that your viewpoint gets put forward and gets put on an agenda. So please feel free to do that on a regular basis. If you don't already know it, Adam and Brian, our numbers, all of us here, are given to each other, including cell phone numbers. So if you don't have those, please make sure that you get them from our secretary, Karen. She'll make sure she gives that to you. And last thing I want to say is that according to school committee policy, the subcommittees that we have get appointed by the chair in conjunction with the vice chair. So while I have not had any conversation with my vice chair as to who we would like to see on each subcommittee, we have 3 standing subcommittees that are in essence our policy subcommittee, our contract negotiation subcommittee, and our budget and facilities subcommittee. So please, if you desire to be on any of those, or which ones you desire, please let Erin and I know, either directly to us or through Karen Delgado, our secretary, so that those decisions can be made and we can let everybody know where they're going to sit and who will be leading those subcommittees. Additionally, we have a wellness subcommittee that we're going to need someone to head. So I would also like everyone to think about that and let us know if they may be interested in taking over that position. That's something that Ms. Wainwright did, and she did a phenomenal job with it. It's very big shoes to fill for whoever wants to take on that role, but I can tell you that she thought they were big shoes before she got in them, and she did a fine job, so I'm sure someone here will be able to do that as well. Okay. Having I said all of that, I believe it's time for,
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
we got a motion to adjourn. Get a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. The meeting's adjourned.